Ready for the show? I'm ready to start.
10, 9, ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower cleared.
First time on Earth, there is a technological intelligence reaching for the stars.
My fellow listeners, now I present to you E.T. First Contact Radio, starring our wonderful host, Maarteen Horst.
Welcome to E.T. First Contact Radio, my friends. It has been a while, but we are back now with the new program. And somebody I met a couple of months ago, actually she's for years now on my Facebook, but she is an amazing woman. Her name is Carol Noonan. And she has been traveling and she has been channeling, and she is a psychic and a very sensitive person, very sensible person, very intelligent person, and she's done an amazing reading for me, and she gives readings to people all over the world, and she does that in a very sensible and high quality reading she gives, and she's also in contact with our friends the Pleiadians, our family, our far ancestors. So it's a wonderful pleasure and honor to have you, Carol. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Maarten. It's really great to be here.
Yes.
Really great to connect with you like this.
Yes, it is. And we have had this connection before. We have talked already sometimes. And we have this wonderful connection. And I'm very sure that other light workers all around the world will feel and resonate with you and feel your wonderful energy when they talk to you and get the reading.
Thank you.
And yes, and you were telling me about the sensitivity and the psychic abilities that you have, that it journeys back to your childhood. So would you tell the listeners your whole story, how it began and where you are now, and what has happened in between?
Okay, where do I start? Okay, I'll start with my granddad, because I was very close to him when I was younger, and that was my first contact that I remember consciously with spirit. And he died when I was 9. And 2 or 3 weeks later, a week or two later, he came back to see me in spirit, and I could see him physically so strongly, so clear, and he gave me a message from my mum, which I gave to her the next day. And I still remember the blood in her face just drained. She just turned white. You know, she was just dumbfounded. She was just in shock. And it kind of went on from there. I had quite an unusual childhood, to say the least, and a lot of spirit activity around me. And I had quite a lot of spiritual experiences. So things went on, and then I developed the mediumship and the psychic awareness from there. And I'm kind of jumping forward ahead now, straight to the connection to the Pleiadians, because they connected to me as a child, but I'd actually forgotten that. and I rediscovered it or remembered it during a shamanic course with Paul O'Halloran in Galway. I think it was 2010 or 2011. I was already channeling information, and it was 2010 or 2011 that I realized it was the Pleiadians I was channeling.
Well, that's an amazing story. Can you tell me more about those Pleiadian beings, how their energy is, and what have they revealed to you so far?
Well, I've just finished my first book recently. I had it done a while ago, but I just had it re-edited. Their energy is beautiful. It's just full of love. I feel so much love when they connect with me. And I normally feel them behind me. I get a sense of their energy coming in just off center on my left side. They're tall, they're blonde, blue-eyed, very angular, very kind of angular features. And I was aware of who they were, but I deliberately have not I've done very little research on them because I wanted, and read very little about them because I wanted the information to be clean, to be pure, to be without any influence from having read anything or seen anything. So I've done very little research on them. So everything I've got directly from them.
From yourself, from your own link with them.
Yes, directly from them, without any kind of, without any having read anything about them or
interference or bias. Because I know other mediums, other channels. Her name is Patricia Corey. She's channeling the Syrians. And I was in England with her, visiting the crop circles, and somebody said, "What do you think about this channel? What do you think about that channel?" And she said, "I don't read other channelings because it's biasing my own connection, and I don't want to be biased."
Exactly.
So where were we? You want to continue your own story about the Pleiadian connection? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that would be a good place to start.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
So I started to channel right in 2009, and I was going through a separation at the time, and I just moved back from the UK to Ireland. 2010/2011, I realised it was the Pleiadians. Very simply because they told me we are the Pleiadians. And I've written everything that they've said to me so far. I've written it down. And then in 2011, 2012, I did a shamanic course with Paul O'Halloran in Galway, who is a great shaman in Ireland. And it was through him that I began remembering childhood memories of having connected with him as a child and being shown information and being downloaded information, being shown information and images, very much to do with Egypt. And there's one in particular instance that always comes back to mind. And I must have been about 10, 11. And I was watching the news with my mum. And I didn't remember this until I did the course with Paul in Galway. But I was watching the telly with my mum, and a picture of the Sphinx came on to the news. And I couldn't move. I was just, I was being downloaded information from the Pleiadians. And they were showing me the paw on I think it was the right side, the paw on the right side. They were showing me steps going down beneath there, and a secret chamber or a secret area that was unknown or hidden, where there was information being contained and being hidden, being kept from us. And then I stepped out of it, and this was all a download of information within a couple of minutes, although it seemed instantaneously. So that was my first. That was one of my first memories that I had with Paul O'Halloran. That because I had such a traumatic childhood, I left my body and connected with the Pleiadians, and was given downloads of information. At those times when I was being abused, I would leave my body physically and connect in with Pleiadian energy. And during the course with Paul O'Halloran, I was shown that this goes back lifetimes. I've connection to the Pleiadian energy, lifetimes after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And as a star seed, there's many of us here that have come from the outside in, and what I call, or I term, cosmic energy. It's someone who's a star seed, basically. And we've come together to this time on Earth now to take back our power, stand in our shoes fully, reclaim who we are, step into our own shoes, and help to raise the consciousness one by one as we move forward. There's such a huge shift happening on Earth at the moment, and it's in stages. It's like you're zapped into this force of energy, and everything's heightened, and then it quietens down for a while, and then you're zapped in again. It's like a roller coaster, and there's breaks in between. But that's how I can describe it.
Yeah, I feel the same about it. And I have the feeling that in the late summer or in the fall, things will really start to unravel and accelerate in a big way. What's your idea about it?
I think September is going to be, there's going to be a big shift in September. And I think that the end of November is important as well. I try to stay away from the mainstream. Well, it's not from the mainstream of what is being channeled, because I like to get the information straight from the Pleiadian energy, so that I'm not influenced by what's going on outside.
Yeah, I was also only speaking about my own gut feeling, what I feel. Would you like to tune into the Pleiadians, or later after the musical break? Or shall we start at your childhood again and talk a bit about your psychic experiences? Maybe you want to describe one of them?
There was one experience I had, and I was 8 at the time, and I would have had a lot of abuse and trauma during my childhood, which I'm now very thankful for, because I feel it was part of my contract, part of my journey, and it was the Pleiadians' way of reconnecting in with me this lifetime. So without that negative sexual abuse and trauma, I wouldn't have been put onto the spiritual path. That's really what I feel that was going on for me.
Same for me.
But
Same for me.
Okay.
Yeah. But go on.
Yeah, I think it's the same for a lot of us. I think trauma, abuse, rape, shock, violence, anything that will cause you to leave your body, will send you out somewhere else, and that is the spiritual world. So I had this guy lying on top of me, and I know that for a lot of listeners that will sound horrific. But I've actually come to a space in my life where I'm grateful for that, because it brought me to the Pleiadian energy. So I had this guy lying on top of me, and I can still smell his whiskey, because he was an alcoholic. He was my mum's boyfriend. And this is a blocked memory that I didn't remember until I met Paul. And I went out of my body, and I connected in with the Pleiadian energies. And I was given a download of information, which I remembered word for word during one of the shamanic workshops with Paul. And when I got home from the workshop, I wrote it down, because it's a memory that I'd blocked, that I'd forgotten. So I went home and wrote it down word for word, and that is in my book. Because I actually do forget a lot of the stuff that the Pleiadians have told me. I'm not constantly always remembering it. Sometimes it'll come in and out. So I'm just. The Pleiadians have such beautiful, loving energy, and they're really like parents, where they want to nurture us and take us forward, and they're here to help us in the shift in consciousness.
Yes, they are.
I went through a very personal journey, and I was beating myself up when I first connected with them because I didn't believe. I believed it was the Pleiadians, but for a period of about a year or two, I was just in a space of disbelief that anyone in their right mind would believe me. And I wasn't in a space to be sharing the information or sharing that I was a Pleiadian channel. So I beat myself up for a couple of years in self-disbelief that no one in their right mind was going to believe me. I mean, because I also didn't have any schooling, and I was kept away from secondary school by the Pleiadians, and there were days and the school was about an hour away in London. So I would get on the bus and I would go to school. I would put my uniform on. I would get my bus money. I would, get all my books for school, make the journey, which was about an hour away. And I would get to the school and I would just stand at the gate and it was like there was a force field or just a block of energy that I just couldn't move through. And I would stand at the gates sometimes for about half an hour, maybe an hour, just looking up at these black gates, and I wouldn't be able to move. And I asked the Pleiadians about that a few years ago, and they told me that they didn't allow me to go into the school because they knew that if I did, I would have been lost to them. I would have been, what's the right word? I would have been, I would have just have been another kid in the school. So they stopped me. They put an energy wall up between me and the school gate, so I wasn't allowed to enter the school. And now I'm very grateful for that. But again, I gave myself a really hard time not being able to, not having a proper secondary education, because I didn't. My education has always been through spirit. If I wanted to know anything, that's the first place I will go to ask, whether it's Pleiadian energy or not. And the Pleiadians have shared, I'm kind of jumping around a little bit here, and I hope that's okay, but the Pleiadians have shown me a lot of information about Egypt, about our true history, about where we came from, who we are, about the real history of the planet, the real history of humanity, about the war between light and dark. There's just so much information they've told me. And I've just had my book re-edited by a friend, which I've done now, because I had a complaint. I had 2 positive reviews, and then I had a negative one. So I decided to have it re-edited. So that's out. That's be ready in a few months.
Yes, I understand. And what's the title of your book, Carol?
It's called The Pleiadian Child.
The Pleiadian Child. And where can you order it?
Well, at the moment, I'm having it re-edited at the moment. Yeah. So it'll be ready in about a month. But it is available at the moment. The unedited version is available at the moment. And that's available on Amazon.com.
Okay.
And it's called The Pleiadian Child.
The Pleiadian Child, people, you have to remember this. I would like to read a copy, and I will make a review for you.
That would be fantastic, Maarten.
Yes.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you.
Hey, Carol, shall we have a little musical intermezzo. So
That would be great. Yeah.
I would like to make myself a nice cup of tea.
Okay.
That's the real English way.
Yes.
Let me find something beautiful for you, so that you have enough time to make yourself something nice to drink. I was thinking about Indra. He's a guy from Romania, and he made amazing music.
Okay.
And you can choose
Oh.
one of the two titles: Conjure Me or Sacred Quest.
Conjure Me.
That's a good one. I would choose the same. So you may, or the Pleiadians may conjure us all.
Yeah.
In a positive way. Let's ask for blessings for this broadcast. Carol and I will be back after the music. The song is 20 minutes, but I will, let's say 7 or 8 minutes will be okay. Or do you want the full 20?
7 or 8 minutes should be okay.
Yeah, I think so. Alright. My friends, Carol and I will be back after the music. Stay tuned.
Thanks, Maarten.
Thanks, Carol.
Hey, you okay?
Welcome back, Carol.
Hi, Maarten.
Welcome back to the program.
Thank you, darling.
Conjure Me, wasn't that amazing music? Well, you couldn't
Yes.
hear it hardly, but since I don't know what happened, but normally people hear my music via this sound system. But something happened, I don't know what, but I will work on it. Anyway, I hope the listeners enjoyed the music. We are anyway back live with our program, ET First Contact Radio. Carol Noonan is my guest, and Carol is a very sensitive, sweet woman, a like-minded soul, a kind of kindred soul that I feel very much connected to and love to. Where should we continue our conversation, Carol?
Okay, well, I was just remembering something there. Because we're friends on Facebook, and the other day I saw that you'd liked an image where there was two suns in the sky.
Yes, indeed.
And that's intrigued me because there has been several pictures and photos and images of two suns in the sky.
Uh-huh.
And everything that I've channeled so far, I've written everything that the Pleiadians have told me so far that I've channeled, I've written it down. So I have a record of it, I have a log of it.
Yes.
And I always date everything I channel.
Yes.
Or I do my very best to do that. And I've managed to do it so far. I always date everything. So I know what the dates it comes through on. But that was something they told me way back. And I have a terrible memory, so I do have to write everything down as well. But that was something they told me way back, that there would be two suns in the sky, or there would be what would appear to be two suns in the sky, and it would be in my lifetime. It would be in our lifetime.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, I'm just amazed. Me personally, I'm just amazed by some of the stuff they've told me. And I was teaching once in Galway, and one of my students asked me, what is the most profound thing they've said to you? And to me, they have told me that we are the gods. And the word God in the Bible should be replaced with the word God. We are the gods, and the word God in the Bible should be replaced with the word gods. And then things would start to make much more sense.
Yes, plural. Because we are all divine beings. And Jesus was a master. He wasn't the Son of God. We are all sons and daughters of the divine.
And what's really interesting, Maarten, is I was 12 and I was about to commit suicide because I wanted out. I just wanted out. I'd gone through a horrendous childhood and I wanted out. So I lay down and I was crying. And the next thing I knew, I was in the corner of my room again. And I met up with Jesus, or what appeared to me as Jesus. And I went on a journey with him for about 2 or 3 hours. And when I came back, I was in a completely different space emotionally. I was in the same situation, but everything had changed within me because of the journey he took me on. And I've now come to believe or realize that he was Pleiadian.
Yes, possible.
That's my belief, because with my experiences with the Pleiadian connection and my experience with Jesus, and I've had other experiences with him where I've been shown that he was Pleiadian energy. And I've had some amazing spiritual experiences and connections with the Pleiadians. And I'm far from normal, but I'm very average.
Me too.
And I think I'm not the only one. There's nothing,
There's nothing wrong about it. I'm also very unusual and strange and a hippie. I'm a guy with long hair.
But there's so many of us that need to come together and reconnect, reband, reform, and stand divided and move forward. Because sometimes it feels like we're very scattered.
Yes.
You know, we're all over the planet.
Yes.
But we really need to come together and to make a connection.
I have once done an interview with a girl from Germany, and her idea was very noble, but very needed and crucial, to create StarSeed centers around the world, where StarSeeds can live together and exchange experiences together. StarSeed centers to live together.
Yeah.
And nowadays there are hotels or office buildings that are empty, that are not used.
Mm.
I maybe I should start something like this. I don't know.
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
You know, I do channel the Pleiadians, but there is nothing special about me. There is nothing I do that you can't do or that anyone else can't do. Mm. It's just a matter of quietening the mind.
Yes.
And we are not alone. We have never been alone.
No, and it's beautiful that you say that. It makes me almost cry. The energy that you had in your voice when you said we have never been alone, that's so reassuring and so touching me. Because I have felt dreadfully alone when I was in my youth. I felt judged, I felt laughed at, you know.
But you feel that energy, Maarteen, because you're not from here.
No.
Your energy is different.
And that's why we should connect, all of us. So hereby I'm making a call to all the listeners, all of the world, to reconnect and help us with the idea of creating StarSeed centers, where StarSeeds could live together, experience things together, and give each other the comfort that's needed, so that we will not feel alone anymore. Thank you, Carol, for saying that. It means a lot for many listeners.
Community and brotherhood and sisterhood is the way forward.
It is.
We need to be able to connect with our people, with, you know. So, and I often get people coming to me these days for readings who are starseeds, who feel disconnected, who need to find their people. Mm. It's all about energy and vibration.
Yeah, that's why I asked you for the reading.
Yeah.
And the reading was beautiful.
Thank you.
It was very direct, and the consequences of my actions are, of course, maybe unexpected, but things will work out, and I have trust in the divine. Because the lady I'm talking about knows what I'm feeling, and she must feel it herself, because we are both starseeds. She's connected to me, so what I feel, that's the law of attraction. She must feel the same. That's not possible that it's otherwise, right? And all the people I love are connected. So what we send out, what we vibrate out, is received by the collective, and especially to a soul where you're deeply rooted and connected to, especially starseeds. What I feel, you feel. What you feel, another member of our starseed soul group feels. We are also deeply entrenched and connected in each other's past lives. Not only past lives, but the energy we have.
It's like a stream of energy.
It is.
And we pick up on that, and that's how telepathy works as well. It's like a stream of energy.
Yes, it is. Yes, honey. Yes. So, connection, community, togetherness. And
it's important, if you're feeling that, Maarteen, to take it forward, because there's so many of us that think, well, someone else will do it. Someone else will do it. You know, who am I to be doing that? Well, who are you not to be doing it? If you're feeling it, then go with it. Because that's just the ego saying that you can't.
I know, and I so desperately want to connect with other starseeds, desperately.
And the radio is a great way to do that. I mean, you can reach. I think technology is great when it's used for the right reasons, because you can reach anyone, anywhere.
Maybe I should do some broadcasts alone. Sometimes, just to encourage fellow StarSeeds.
Yeah.
And then sometimes invite you or others. You know, let's say what we are doing now is something planned. We said, okay, we're going to do this broadcast on Tuesday at 7 o'clock for 1 or 2 hours. But spontaneous action also works. That's how the energy works. If you feel a certain wave of energy, something that's coming in cosmically, then maybe we should connect on Facebook and say, okay, let's go live now, Carol. You say to me, Maarten, I have to tell the listeners something. You can always ask me, let's do it, and we will go live anyway, anytime possible, in the night, it doesn't matter, because we are connected to the whole world with my radio station. And when we announce it big time on Facebook, things are...
that would be fantastic.
Yes. Yeah, so we have a 1 hour broadcast tonight, but we can always anytime tune in to the energies of the people who might need us. And what they receive on our energy will be needed.
It's just, something's just coming. I mean, that'd be fantastic.
Yes.
It'd be really nice to do that, be spontaneous and go with the flow.
Yes.
And I do believe in divine timing. And I know that we've tried a couple of times to do the radio, and either your end or my end, something's it has just hasn't been at the right timing.
Yeah.
So I do believe very much in divine timing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a beautiful word to put it. Divine timing. So whenever something comes up in your mind, just let me know, and we will address the listeners with positive energy.
Fantastic. Yeah,
yes.
That's what it's all about, positive energy.
Yes, and divine timing, it's excellent that you say that. Because I see my life in the last couple of years developing more and more into divine timing. Because when you make an appointment, you have to say then and then, that time, planning things 3 weeks ahead.
And it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen or it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I can feel it coming. You know, an appointment, doesn't matter with who. The day before, I feel, okay, tomorrow this person will cancel. Or it will be another date. You know? Somehow we are all telepathic.
Yeah, we are. We are all telepathic. We're just taught and conditioned that we're so much less than we really are. So much less than we really are. And the very opposite is true of what we're taught in school.
That's true, yeah.
And I was trying to remember the words just now, and it came back to me. Conditioning. That's the word I was trying to remember.
Yes.
The Pleiadians had told me that they wouldn't let me enter the school system because otherwise I would have been conditioned in the same way, and they wouldn't have been able to get their message across or connect in with me. You know, and I'm not the only person. I mean, I am speaking out about it now, but there's so many starseeds and channels for the Pleiadians.
More and more nowadays. Yeah,
more and more. And there's also, one of the other things they said to me was that, something else they said to me, a lot of you have blocked memories and trauma and abuse in your childhood. And a lot of you have blocked memories of having connected with us as children. And you will be remembering that. And I purposely stayed away from reading Barbara Marciniak or Barbara Hand-Clough or Kuan Yin.
I know them,
yeah. Because I didn't want their information to influence me or what the Pleiadians were saying. So it was quite a few years after when I read Barbara Marciniak's books, and I saw that she'd written the same thing, or that they had told her the same thing, and I found that very interesting.
Yeah, the three that you mentioned are quite famous.
They are. Yeah, they are.
There's one thing I want to ask you. You know that Barbara Marciniak, she does talks publicly. But what I've been seeing on YouTube, there's a guy with different YouTube channels, and he is using lectures from Barbara, but also from Cryan. What's his name? You know, Cryan.
Lee Carroll.
Lee Carroll. And then he makes a title, June solstice, this and this will happen, and he just puts one of the lectures, and then he gets a lot of views. But the date itself has nothing to do with or the title from the. It's very strange. It's for the views, but it's confusing for people, because the talk from Barbara, for example, it can be from 2007 or 8. You know.
So is he a genuine channel, or is he taking information and getting it out there?
No, he's just using the lectures from Barbara and others on his YouTube channel, and he's using very dramatic titles. July the 4th, the world will end, and then he uses a lecture from Barbara.
And we're still here.
Yeah, of course, but from 2008. I just give an example, you know.
Yeah.
Or economic collapse in June 2017, and he will use one of the lectures. That's not very positive.
No, I'm wondering what his intention is. I think it's great to get information out there that's accurate.
Yeah, but it's a bit confusing that you use a title that is directed to something that would happen or would have happened, but the information from Barbara or from Lee Carroll is more intricate and much more. You have to. It's about the broader picture. It's not about an event. It's not about one event. So I discovered that, and of course I'm very curious to know what will happen. But you know, those things happen on the internet.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of, the internet is a wonderful thing if it's used in the right way.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of misinformation, disinformation, a lot of negative information on the internet as well. And it's also to do with the war between the light and dark, between the war between light and dark, which is going on, which has been going on since day one.
Yes. And I think it's a shame that Lee Carroll or Barbara Marciniak is used as a method for fear-mongering, because they are not fear-mongers. But anyway. Yeah,
it's not about fear, creating fear. It's about getting the message out.
Yes.
And Barbara has said that again and again. She says, well, as the Pleiadians have said through her, we're not here to create fear. We're here to give information.
Yes. Yes. Does she smoke marijuana before she starts a lecture?
I don't know, Maarten. I'm sorry.
I love her voice, you know.
Her voice changes very much.
Yes. Welcome. Once again, we are here. It is our pleasure to address you in Sedona, Arizona.
I've never channeled in public, but I do wonder if my voice would change.
Yeah, that would be curious. Yeah, you can try now. No, don't bother.
Yeah.
No, I will respect you and always do that. And we can soon plan a radio show with more information.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, let's not plan it. Let's just
see what happens. Go with the flow.
And use divine timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for now it was a big pleasure to have you here.
It's been great. Really great to connect up with you.
Yes. Anything more you want to say to the listeners before we close off?
Yeah, there is. Just very quickly before we go, because I know time's running out, just that we are so much more than we've been taught, than we really are. The Pleiadians created us in their own likeness. We are the gods. We created you as our children, and you are so much more than you are told to believe you are. And it's about losing the conditioning that we've been taught through school. And I'm probably very anti-school, because I think it just teaches kids to be conditioned and to follow the herd, to follow the herd.
Yes.
So I'm a great believer in the alternative schools or homeschooling.
Yes, homeschooling. I was in the Steiner school, luckily, as a child.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. They're absolutely amazing.
Yes. Sing hallelujah.
Yeah. I just wanted to say thank you for letting me be here.
Yes, I feel very deeply connected to you, and I feel your emotion. I feel what you feel. You feel what I feel, and that makes the broadcast radiate
easier.
Yes, and it radiates a special kind of energy, an intimate energy, and that's what people like to listen to when there is connectedness. So, my dear, I will let you go now and play my beautiful outro.
Okay.
Just hold on, because after the broadcast I have a few questions, okay?
Okay.
Alright. My dear friends, welcome home to heaven, where the stars are shining, and all our beautiful ETs from everywhere in the galaxy are, as we are on Earth. Stay in your I am present, stay connected, and love yourself first. This is Maarten Horst with ET First Contact Radio, and Carol Noonan, my dear friend, all the way to Ireland, all over the galaxy. We are transmitting. ET First Contact Radio welcomes you back next time. Au revoir.